Hello everyone! Today we're going to be jumping back into Historic Brawl with Sheoldred the Apocalypse. Now Sheoldred is an insane legendary creature. For 4 mana you get a 4/5 creature, which is already insane stats. She also has Death Touch, and if that wasn't enough, whenever we draw a card, we're going to gain 2 life, and whenever our opponent draws a card, they're going to lose 2 life. So what does that mean for this deck? We want to draw a bunch of cards, and we want our opponent to draw a bunch of cards. Cards for days. So let's talk a little bit about some of the cards we've included in this deck and why we've added them. So we have Mithril Coat, Swiftfoot Boots, and Mirror Shield to give indestructible or hexproof to our Sheoldred. We want Sheoldred to stay on the battlefield, right? That's going to have our game plan be accelerated. We also want us and our opponents to draw additional cards. That's why we have things like the Howling Mine. We're going to have Howling Mine cause each player to draw an additional card on their draw set, making our opponent lose more and us gain more. Additionally, we've got Scyzon here. He's going to have each player lose 2 life and draw 2 cards at the beginning of their upkeeps, which is going to stack and be absolutely insane. We have other card draw punishers for our opponents, things like Ob Nixilis, which we can use to destroy their creatures and punish them for drawing cards, making them draw cards. Underworld Dreams as well. One of the absolutely end-all combo pieces here is Peer into the Abyss. Drawing cards equal to half the number of cards in their library and losing half of their life. Absolutely insane. We can also use this to gain a ton of life. So, all things considered, we're in a pretty good spot. Now, we do have a couple of other cards. Lots of interaction for our opponent's creatures. One of the fun synergies in this deck is the One Ring. The One Ring only gets better with Sheoldred, completely mitigates that downside, giving us only positives, gaining a bunch of life, drawing a bunch of cards, and that protection on the ETB is going to be really strong. Dark Ritual, always a standout in this deck. Make sure you include that in your mono black deck so we can get Sheoldred out on the battlefield as early as turn 2. Now, if you guys have been enjoying my content, make sure to subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all my latest videos. And if you do like this video, make sure you hit that like button down below. Let's go ahead and see how this deck does. Alright, right off the bat, we are playing into Essica. A Prismatic Bridge deck, most likely. Let's go ahead and keep this opening hand after the mulligan. I like seeing some more lands. We're going to start with our tap land here. Tap land, Bajuka Bog, exile our opponent's graveyard. We've got Go for the Throat. If they have any early rampers, we do want to keep our opponent off all of their mana for as long as possible. Go ahead, play another land. After this, we've got Bloodthirsty Aerialist. This is going to be really strong with Sheoldred's life gain. Right, that could be a counterspell. Not sure yet, though. Sure, plays an Automaton. We're gonna just play out Sheoldred here. Yep. Now, notably, we cannot kill the Automaton with Go for the Throw. We do have Hero's Downfall, though. Next turn, let's see, we can also go Sap Vitality. Make Jadar bigger. Hostage Taker takes Sheoldred. Actually, let's see. No. They can have it. Keep it hostage. That's fine. Let's go Sap Vitality. And who do we want to be bigger? I think we'd prefer Jadar. Get that buff. Thanks for Sheoldred. And then we can play out the Disciple to force the Forge Fire sacrifice. Sacrifice the Disciple. Swing for 2. Alright. In a pretty good spot here. Between Hero's Downfall and Go for the Throat, we should be able to deal with any creatures that Essica gets. And it does look like our opponent is playing a creature-heavy deck. There's a Planeswalker as well.
Initiate. You are not worthy. Your lives will not go.
Alright, draw a card, gain some life. There's a +1/+1 counter. I think we're gonna go Woe Strider. And Jadar here. And honestly, do I care about their Planeswalker? I don't think I do. So we're just going to go ahead and all in on the attack. We are now presenting lethal next turn on our opponent. We are in a pretty good spot. If they do manage to play out blockers, we can destroy it, and we've got it! Alright. Alright, here we are on the play. Let's go ahead and take a mulligan. Honestly, I don't really like this either. We're gonna mulligan one more time. And let's go ahead bottom blood on the snow. Start with a land, pass the turn. Now, Jadar and Felstinger is a fun little combo for us here. It's gonna give us a decayed creature that we can exploit. Slow and steady, gonna make our way up to the Sheoldred cast. Okay, explore. Yeah, Castle Garenbrig, sure. We're just gonna play out the Felsinger and exploit it here. We wouldn't be able to attack first with the token, because notably, if we were to do that, the token would get sacrificed at the end of combat. And before our Felstinger could exploit it, so only 1 damage that turn off Jadar. Next turn we've got Sheoldred. I think our opponent's gonna play out Azusa. Yep, bunch of lands. If they don't get another creature, I think we go Demon's Disciple. Sack the zombie. But we'll see. I'm curious, they might animate the Blinkmoth Nexus and sacrifice that instead of the Azusa. Okay, Fierce Empath, so that's definitely what they would choose to sacrifice instead. See if they grab a Crater Hoof or something like that. I know, a bunch of different options. I think we just play out Sheoldred next turn, because that's going to be very strong for us. Can attack with Felstinger and the zombie. Thorn Mammoth, got it. So Thorn Mammoth can deal with Jadar. And they do have enough mana for it because of what Castle Garenbrig does. I think we just play out Sheoldred here. They can choose to kill the Sheoldred if they want to. And if they do, Thorn Mammoth is gonna die, and that's gonna put them back a little bit. Just gonna deal some damage now. Felstinger having Death Touch is also gonna be very strong. Sacrifice, we'll get a new one. Things looking pretty good. Gonna lose some life for drawing that card. Gotta pay the tax. If our opponent does decide to kill Jadar with a Thorn Mammoth first and leave Sheoldred, we have Blood Pact. This is gain 4 life, lose 2 life, draw 2 cards, pretty strong. It's also target player, so we can have our opponent lose 6 life. Okay, Kogla fights Sheoldred. Sheoldred, most likely, yep. And dies because Death Touch. That's fine, we're just going to work towards casting Sheoldred again. Opponent essentially skip their turn, discards Kogla, kills Sheoldred. That's some pretty good value right there. 6 mana to kill Sheoldred. Now we can go with Gix here, and I do kind of like that. This might incentivize a block that our opponent otherwise wouldn't have made. So let's go ahead and do this. Next turn we can play out Sheoldred again. If not, we just get 2 more cards. This is going to give us some advantage. Yeah, see, look at that. Incentivizing the block with the Fierce Empath. They might even block with the Zeus. No, but they don't. So we'll definitely pay that life and draw the card. Hall of Oracles, sure. Replacement zombie. All's well here. I think it would be nice to see our opponent play out Thorn Mammoth here. Probably gonna fight Gix. Yep. Looking good. Now what I think we do here is, instead of playing out Sheoldred, we're gonna go with the Demon's Disciple. Force them to either sacrifice Azusa or the Thorn Mammoth. They'll pick Azusa. At least I think they will. That would make the most sense to me. We're gonna just sacrifice our zombie. Nice and simple. Yep. Looking good. We'll go ahead and move to combat. Swing with the Fellstinger. It has Death Touch, so they're not going to want to block that. Yep. Looks good. Down at 12. Play out a Woe Strider. We can sacrifice things that our opponent chooses to fight. Or at least draw one of those fights triggers to the Woe Strider first. Kind of like that. One way or another, though, our opponent is eventually going to start running out of steam. As it stands, each turn with Fellstinger, we'll be able to get 3 damage out. Sure, yeah. Ancient Green Warden, that's a good card. Fight the Woe Strider. Yep. Let's go ahead and sacrifice the goat, because we don't need the goat. I do have to decide whether or not we want to sacrifice the zombie. Sap Vitality. Yeah, let's keep that on top. It's an instant, so it's just going to let us swing out a little bit more advantageously. See, I don't think our opponent has any other 2-mana creatures. We can also save Sap Vitality for when Thorn Mammoth fights something of ours. Play a land. Move to combat. We're just gonna swing like this. Sap Vitality and Kalitas is gonna be really strong for us. Alright. They're adding a mana. Sure, okay. Blinkmoth Nexus, that's fine. Move to blockers. Yep. 3-1 with the Blinkmoth. Yeah. That's fine by me. Sacrifice at the end of combat. Now I think we just play out Sheoldred here. If they fight with the Mammoth, they're going to lose a lot of value, and we already have them down at 8. Now, remember that Blood Pact that we were holding on to since earlier? Draw 2 card, lose 2 life. This is a 6 damage, 3 mana burn spell. As long as we have Sheoldred. Which means our opponent will die on their next upkeep. If we're allowed to keep Sheoldred here. So we'll see. My guess is our opponent's gonna play a creature, sacrifice the Thorn Mammoth to kill Sheoldred. Yep, there's Azusa. Fight the Sheoldred, yep. If they pick a Jadar, that is a mistake. I mean, they don't know what's in our hands, so I can't really say it is a mistake, but it's definitely good for us. Yep. Now, this is an instant card, so I'm going to put a stop on our opponent's upkeep. No attacks. We'll just end the turn right here. Yep. There you go. I got a gift for you. And you can go ahead and draw your card for turn. Good game. Alright, opponent on the play. This is a pretty good starting hand, so I certainly don't mind keeping this. We're playing into Liliana, the Last Hope, so another mono black deck. Go ahead and keep. Land go. Next turn we've got Jadar. Yep. Okay, Dark Ritual, Liliana, probably. Yep.
Something suspicious is going on. And for
Looks
once,
good.
it's
They're
not my fault.
making their way towards that emblem.
Your day is
Let's go,
mine
Jadar.
to ruin.
Absolute worst case scenario, this is 2 creatures, so it's going to make it harder for our opponent to remove both of them on turn 3. That being said, Liliana can just plus to make our Decayed Zombie useless. We can kill Liliana with Hero's Downfall next turn, though. That is going to be very strong for us. We'll see what happens here, though. Nope, they decide to kill Jadar instead.
At any time.
Plays a Nazgul, sure. Let's go ahead and just kill Liliana.
This was boring anyway.
Really don't want to deal with that right now. And we're going to try and start doing the Sheoldred thing. If we don't draw the land, we have Bantu's Monument. Puts us 2 turns out for Sheoldred. That's not terrible. Okay, another Nazgul. Yeah. So the Nazgul will get out of control fairly quickly. Yep. It's 4 damage, sure. Again, we do kind of really need Sheoldred here. That way we can start gaining life. Looking good. Sheoldred time. Now our opponent is playing a mono black deck, so I'm sure they do have some removal. No attacks. But as it stands, we've got some decent card draw and life gain here. Can also burn our opponent, if need be, but we're definitely not low enough for that, or they're definitely not low enough for that yet. Only 3 cards in hand. I imagine if they could have killed Sheoldred, they would have done that faster. I think they're contemplating whether or not they want to play out their Liliana again. But we'll see. Next turn, we can play up the Tome, maybe Sign in Blood. Yeah, they play a Liliana here.
Enough with the mysteries. I've come for answers.
Maybe Shrink Sheoldred. Yeah, that's fine. Alright, Eldritch Pact is going to be really good. That can close out the game with Sheoldred. Let's start with Sign in Blood. I'd like to have some more cards to choose from. Okay, let's go Arcane Signet. And the only reason we picked the Signet over the Tome here is because that gives us the 1 mana for the Chef. Okay, opponent's gonna lose 2 life. We're back up at 25, which is gonna be pretty good. Unfortunately for us, we did not find another land yet. Got a couple of options for things to do next turn. Let's see, we can go Chef, sack, Zombie. Draw a card, gain some life. That's 2. If that card's a land, we can Tome, draw a card. Lots of different options. I'm, again, going to guess that our opponent's just going to uptick and make Sheoldred smaller again. No, makes the Dockside Chef small.
You can quit at any time.
So we do find a land. We might go Monument into Kalitas. I do kind of like that. Kalitas is a little bit of a non-synergy with Eldritch Pact, since it will exile the dead creatures of our opponent. But I think it's going to be worth it anyway. A little bit of burn for our opponent, and the fact that we have a zombie means that we can sacrifice that to put the +1/+1 counters on Kalitas. Okay, proliferating, sure. So proliferate. Are going to see a -7 ability perhaps next turn. Getting that emblem. Yep.
Wipe that smug look off your face.
That's fine by me.
I'm not finished with you yet.
Let's see. discard a card. I think we just discard Maze Mind Tome here. And then play out Sheoldred. Undead Augur's also good, but let's play Sheoldred here. Looks good. No attacks. Now our opponent's always going to be able to just sacrifice zombies instead. But we do like our creature recursion. One more land, and Eldritch Pact is also on the table. I don't mind putting some more things into our graveyard as well, because we can also go the draw a bunch of cards route and not just burn out our opponent with the Sheoldred. But our opponent is very low, so we are getting close to a point where that would make sense. Because with 2 cards in their graveyard as it currently stands, that is going to be 6 damage. 6 damage for 7 mana, I mean, isn't ideal by any means. But it is still a number and something to think about. Let's see. Alright, we get Jadar back. Gain some life. Alright, Undead Augur. Looks good. Let's play out Plague Crafter here. Opponent's gonna sacrifice a zombie. We'll sacrifice a zombie as well. Get to draw a card off the Augur. We can also use our last mana on the Dockside Chef to sacrifice something else. Yep. Sacrifice the zombie. They'll sacrifice one of theirs. Yep. Draw a card, gain a life. Okay. Bajuka Bog. I mean, certainly not the best draw for us, since we'll have to go ahead and exile a graveyard. I think we just hold on to that, but we'll see. Let's go ahead and sacrifice that zombie. That'll let us draw another card. Actually, another 2 cards. Gain some more life. Again, we're getting close to killing our opponent. So we're just gonna hang in here and see what we can find. Okay, Bonder's Enclave. I think that'll be the land that we play. No attacks. Make a zombie with Jadar. Looking good. Okay, sure, Village Rites. Draw some cards. That's fine. Lose 4 life. 9, alright. We are getting closer to lethal on our opponent. Gonna be at 7. 3 cards, so lose 3 life, lose 6 off of the Sheoldred. So this is lethal with Eldritch Pact next turn. I think we're gonna have it here, yeah. I don't think our opponent was quite expecting this. Yep. Alright, well, we didn't get to cast it, but we had it. Okay, everybody, I hope you enjoyed. Sheoldred is a great commander in Historic Brawl. Not only are we punishing our opponents for drawing cards, a staple of Magic the Gathering and very necessary for getting more value over the course of the game, but we're also giving ourselves extra life and buffering our health total so we can stabilize. One of the other fun things here is a lot of our card draw spells, which at their base level are just good because they're card draw, can turn into lethal threats for our opponent, forcing them to draw 2 cards or more while Sheoldred's on the battlefield, making them lose upwards of 4 life, sometimes 6 with the downside. It can be absolutely crazy and a great way to get through that extra damage that we need. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure you give it a like, and if you have any other ideas for a deck you'd like to see me play, why don't you go ahead and let me know in a comment down below. I'll see you all next time.